Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, but not just any cliff. This one is 4 kilometers high. That's like jumping off 13 Empire State Buildings stacked on top of each other. Now picture a waterfall crashing down from that height, carving a canyon so vast it makes the Grand Canyon look small. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But here's the twist. This isn't Earth. This is Mars. Yes, Mars. The red planet once had the largest waterfall in the solar system. How do we know? And what happened to it? Stick around because this story is about to blow your mind. So again, how did we even find this? Well, it's all thanks to NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, or MRO for short. This incredible piece of technology has been orbiting Mars since 2006, sending back more data than all other Mars missions combined. That's right, more than all of them. It's like the overachiever of space missions. The MRO has 3 cameras on board. The first is the Marcy weather camera. This camera sees horizon to horizon on every orbit, building a global weather map of Mars every single day. Imagine checking the weather on Mars like you check your phone in the morning. The second camera is the context camera, which provides high-resolution images and has covered about 99% of the Martian surface. That's almost the entire planet. And then there's the high-rise camera, which gives us those stunning, super detailed images of Mars. Over the years, the MRO has made more than 60,000 orbits around Mars. That's a lot of laps. And during that time, it's revealed some incredible things: polar avalanches, shifting sand dunes, and even what looked like seasonal flows of sand or liquid water. But in 2017, the MRO turned its gaze to something truly ancient and mysterious: the Aris Vallis region, specifically the Eridania Basin. Now, the Eridania Basin is no ordinary basin. It's a massive depression in some of the oldest crust on Mars, formed about 3.8 billion years ago. To put that into perspective, that's around the time when life was just starting to emerge on Earth. Scientists believe that this basin once held more water than 10 times the volume of the Great Lakes or 3 times the volume of the Caspian Sea. That's a lot of water. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. The MRO spotted something remarkable on the ancient seabed of the Eridania Basin: a massive 400-meter thick deposit of a mineral that forms in deep-sea hydrothermal environments. On Earth, these kinds of environments are found near underwater vents, and they're teeming with life. So what does this mean for Mars? Well, it suggests that Mars not only had the same ingredients for life as Earth, but also had an active environment that could have sparked life into action. Think about it. 3.8 billion years ago, Mars had a sea, hydrothermal vents, and all the right conditions for life. At the same time, life was just beginning to emerge on Earth. The similarities are uncanny. It's like Mars and Earth were twins, starting off on the same path. But then, something happened. Around 3.7 billion years ago, Mars underwent a dramatic transformation. The planet got colder, much colder. The liquid water that once filled the Eridania Basin either soaked into the ground and froze, or turned into ice at the surface. Over time, a lot of that water was transported to the poles, forming the thick ice caps we see today. But before that happened, Mars experienced something catastrophic. As the planet cooled, it also became more volcanically active. This led to massive floods, water raging down from the southern highlands, carving out the landscape in ways that are hard to even imagine. And this brings us to the star of our story, the largest waterfall in the solar system. Picture this: water cascading over cliffs 4 kilometers high. That's more than 4 times the height of the tallest waterfall on Earth, Angel Falls in Venezuela. This Martian waterfall plunged into a spectacular canyon, 10 kilometers wide and 100 kilometers long. The sheer scale of it is mind-blowing. Now let's take a moment to appreciate just how massive this is. 4 kilometers high. That's like stacking 13 Empire State Buildings on top of each other. And the canyon it created? 10 kilometers wide and 100 kilometers long. That's longer than the Grand Canyon. This wasn't just a waterfall, it was a force of nature on a scale we've never seen before. But here's the thing: this waterfall wasn't a permanent feature. Once the floods subsided, the water disappeared, leaving behind only the scars etched into the planet's surface. Today, all that remains is a dry, barren landscape, a silent testament to the incredible forces that once shaped Mars. So, what caused these floods? Scientists believe that the volcanic activity on Mars led to the release of underground water reservoirs. As the planet cooled, the pressure built up, and eventually, the water burst forth in a series of catastrophic floods. These floods carved out the landscape, creating the massive canyons and cliffs we see today. But why is this important? Well, it tells us a lot about the history of Mars. It shows us that Mars was once a dynamic, active planet with flowing water and possibly even the conditions for life. It's a reminder that Mars wasn't always the cold, dry desert we see today. And here's a fun fact. The Eridania Basin, where all this started, is one of the most promising places to look for evidence of past life on Mars. Those hydrothermal vents we talked about earlier, they're like the incubators of life. On Earth, similar environments are home to some of the most resilient and ancient forms of life. So if life ever existed on Mars, this is where we might find it. But let's not forget the waterfall itself. The idea of a waterfall on Mars is just so cool. It's a reminder of the power of water, even on a planet that's now so dry. And it's a testament to the incredible forces that shape our solar system. Now you might be wondering, how do we know all this? Well, it's thanks to the incredible work of scientists and engineers who have spent decades studying Mars. The MRO, with its high-resolution cameras, has given us an unprecedented look at the red planet. And every new discovery brings us closer to understanding Mars's past, and maybe even its future. So what's next? Well, the search for life on Mars continues. Missions like NASA's Perseverance rover are exploring the planet's surface, looking for signs of ancient life. And who knows, maybe one day we'll find evidence that life once thrived on Mars, in a time when waterfalls cascaded down cliffs 4 kilometers high. But for now, let's just marvel at the incredible discoveries we've already made. The longest waterfall in the solar system, on Mars. It's a reminder of how much we still have to learn about our cosmic neighborhood. And it's a testament to the power of exploration, curiosity, and the human spirit. So what do you think? Isn't it amazing to think about what Mars was like billions of years ago? A planet with seas, waterfalls, and maybe even life. It's a story that's still unfolding, and we're lucky to be part of it. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the largest waterfall in the solar system. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating stories from our universe. And as always, keep looking up.